G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff. I've noticed the view count is up. Welcome new viewers. I welcome each and every one of you and hope that you stay and continue to receive the truth. Because the truth matters. The truth enables you to make informed decisions that improve your life. Now, as we look at the war in Ukraine, or should I say Ukraine's war on Russia and Russians, the ethnic cleansing that Ukraine tried to engage in, the NATO mission to destroy Russia because Russia's made the awful claim of saying no to the European central banks dominating Russia. What a horrible claim! It's a crime against all of humanity, I tell you. But now you know the truth. And you've seen the truth. There are too many times has a leader defied the central banks and seen a war against them. Now, I'm not saying this is the case in Iran. Iran made a huge mistake. Had Iran not made this mistake, I think they'd still be facing a different kind of internal collapse, a civil war, maybe even. Not now, maybe later, but Iran is in deep trouble. Russia knows it. China and Russia have been working for years trying to save Iran from itself. The biggest problem with Iran is similar to Ukraine. It is an entrenched leadership. It is not just the Ayatollah in Iran. It's like in Ukraine. If Zelensky was to retire somehow tomorrow, nothing will change because it's not just Zelensky. Zelensky is just a front man, just like the Ayatollah. Although the Ayatollah has more power than Zelensky had. It is pretty much still, they're both kings. It's just that the kingdom of Iran is the kingdom of occupiers, and the Persians are sick of them. And the protest will continue. The protest will only grow. There is a counter-revolution going on in Iran. It's just the Russians and China. The Russians should realize the Chinese are not their friends, and they're using the Iranian have stoked fires in Iran to destroy Russia's position in Iran. And the destruction of, as a consequences of the situation in Iran, Russia has lost critical industries and critical trade because of it. The Americans didn't bomb it, okay? The Americans didn't bomb a civilian industry in Iran. It was internal conflict. There's a lot of things about Iran that, for whatever reason, the world does not want to be told. The media doesn't want to tell the whole story. And it's like Ukraine. The world does not want to tell the whole story about Ukraine. Not even Russia wants to tell the whole story, although a few lone voices in Turkey have, and have pointed out that it's just one corrupt regime and another. Zelensky's in a long line of corrupt leadership. No one say Erdogan is the expert on anti-corruption, but still, when corruption's so bad that your neighbours are saying, damn, dial it back, you know things are terrible. Now, Kharkiv, of course, Dnipro, as usual, suffered retaliatory strikes. Those were a response to Ukraine attack on Rostov. They were coming ahead of the security operation. Aircraft were told, airports were being shut after the last aircraft took off for the military parade. So a lot of aircraft are now grounded. There is also air alert in Russia right now. There was an attack on Moscow a short time ago. It's not exactly known exactly how Putin is going to respond, But there's a 9 hours ago, yeah, there was an explosion. But for now, right, after the retaliation and Putin threatened Zelensky on state television that if he dared attack again, that he will rain down missiles on Kiev on his head. Well, I don't exactly know if that's true or not. I've heard different reports. The problem is, it's neither here nor there, right? Most people aren't going to care, and we can move on. Pretty much assured that Putin isn't going to kill Zelensky. It's just like, why didn't Churchill kill Hitler? Never interrupt an enemy when they're destroying themselves, of course. I thought that would be obvious. But for some reason, you have to shout it from the rooftops. Now, Russia's made a series of advances near Kyrgyz. For whatever reason, they seem to be focused on the north at the moment, though those operations ceased soon after. There was a whole bunch of brief operations all across the front today. The usual artillery strikes on the supply roads. Usual nothing going on the border. There was briefly attacks in the Lyman area, the usual attacks. Now, Russia's headed for this critical juncture here at Kravdaluka. They have actually stopped within kilometres, within easy firing range by light artillery of Kravdaluka, and they are coming up from the west. They've advanced in the west, so Kravdaluka is the next siege, just like Lyman. Now, if you look at the map, Lyman, believe it or not, see this green area here? That's Lyman, right? These are just towns on the outskirts. Lyman's also includes this big area here, in which there is military operations and bases and whatever. Now, for whatever reason, they stopped early in most stopped early in most places, and like sensible. I mean, most Ukrainians on the front line are going to be sensible. If the Russians stop firing, they soon stop firing. Because if they continue firing, they're just inviting rain on their position. Most Ukrainians are surviving now by just trying to repel the Russians and not trying to attack the Russians. Now, some maps have the Russians actually having expanded here. I think that was brief. I think the Russians merely engaged in what you'd call straightening the line, making sure that their network of trenches didn't have a gape or a gap as they all move into defensive positions. The same here. Most of the Russian troops in Konsk, as you can see, they've still probably not taken much more than in the last week than in the last month, but they have taken a little bit, okay, but not much. Now here, this is backwards and forwards. It seems to be the Russians are coming up on, like I said they would, once they fix the bridges and clear the roads, they will start coming up on Treshnikilia from the south rather than from trying to cross the river. And so those, of course, is just to secure their positions, right? Major positions where the Ukrainians are concentrated against the Russians. And again, these artillery markers are often where artillery is fired from rather than where artillery is fired at. And that's weird, but that's the way it goes. Now, this is nothing but a junction. Right. It's about this junction, though. and the Russians are on it, but seem to have dug in. Now, Russians haven't called for a cease of operations in Hainishny because of security concerns. Unexploded ordnance and other operations are still ongoing, as well as Ukrainian infiltrators who stayed behind after the Ukrainians were overrun. There are lots of these incidences that go on. And they're not the only place where there are incidences. Now, the Russians... Oh, no, not here. Is it? Oh, that's Honkivi. It's down here. The Russians have advanced down here. Now, somewhere in here is a tiny little area. Now, the last of the Ukrainians had left. And, yeah, there's brief fighting up here. So now we have a situation at Ukraine, where, as you can see, the Russians have more land, but yeah, they have not been able to completely take over. So again, as Truce kicks in, there's a lot of nervous people right now wondering what is going to be. Now, again, there are areas where they're still unable to push out the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are willing to pour in lots of people. And you can see this is one of the big areas of concern, is that fighting over these open fields, we see whether or not what happens after this resumption. But again, Russians have made threats if they disrupt the truce, which they did over 1,000 times. But so far, Putin's response is a reminder. Now, there was, that they will suffer the consequences after the resumption. So they've reserved the right to retaliate at a later date so far. Now, I've updated the site. As you can see, I've cleaned up my logo. I've put the logo back on. You know, that's actually a homepage button, right? I wish it was a text marker or something. I might actually install put a navigation bar in, and so, yeah. Might replace that with a navigation bar. See how it happens. So I've updated the site. Nice little futuristic colour scheme to go with the Empire. As you can see, the Empire's logo, somewhat. Yeah, see the Pleiades, blue stars. So the blue text of those stars. The colour of space is not black. It's actually midnight blue. That's because space is not empty. We're in it, by the way. I don't understand. It's like, what occupies space? Stars and planets. But anyway, shows some of the alternate images. I've got different variations. Got more to come. Just some, and yes, there's a slow price rise being enacted. Hopefully, No more price rises or scares, but we'll see what happens. The world market is a fickle beast, but some things you can still get at the old price. Probably about a week before before all the new prices are in place. So, you haven't got long to get something at the old price. Now, I know some people have absorbed the price rises. Some people can. I've absorbed a lot of price rises over the years. I've finally got no choice but to put up prices just a little bit. Zelensky made threats to foreign leaders, saying don't attend the Moscow parade. It didn't really recommend it. As you can see, again, once again, Zelensky's photoshopped into into Kiev when he's really in a bunker in Poland. I'm not going to read out his address. There was a drone attack on Moscow. The Yaroslav oil refinery and Rostov were also hit. Now, no one said what the apartments are in Moscow. I believe it was targeting a military leader's home in Moscow. Ukraine, of course, comes up with all sorts of interesting but ultimately deceptive reasons behind their attacks. Now, Perm in Russia has cancelled its Victory Parade after an attack on its nearby oil facility. Most of the people aren't going to be able to attend because they're fighting the fire and rebuilding the facility. So, yeah. Well, Zelensky's going around the world, by the way, trying to put together an international tribunal against Russia and Russian aggression. Just like when they put together a special tribunal against Germany. No, Europe is setting itself up for a disaster. Right. Now, Moscow has reported one of the largest drone attacks ever. It's not the largest, but as you can see, there was air defences. Now, as I reported often, the Russians have slapped the Zu-23 onto many things. And some of them are actually now Zu-30s. Some are upgraded. Now, all of them have upgraded, as you can see, upgraded optics. They are actually AI tracking. They are able to not only the radar can not only detect the drone, track the drone, but could point the gun through the same eye lead as pilots, the heads-up display, to actually lead the cannon. Now, of course, they also use the new 23mm programmable. That's why a lot of them are still 23, because they're yet to produce enough quantity of the 30mm. And a lot of the 30mm are going to shipborne for anti-missile operations. Now, the 23mm fuse is programmed as it leaves the barrel by, RDIF technologies. So as it leaves the barrel, the fuse starts and it explodes at the approximate time, which represents distance over time, to actually create so they don't have to. So creates a flat cloud of indirect explosions to destroy drones. As you can see here, they put in cope cages on and side skirts and cope cages on the BLBT. BLLT, where apparently abbreviation for armored tractor in Russian. These mainstays were made all the way back to the dying days of World War II to basically tow large artilleries. Now, some of Russia's large artilleries still have not been deployed. These are the 170s from North Korea, the 203s. A lot of the 203 Tulip mortars are still in stockpile, where Russians have accumulated thousands of these tractors in recent times, updating them. A lot of the damage has been by falling debris. That's caused injuries and fires across Russia. There has been direct hits on some buildings and oil facilities. Again, most of the fires are put out within hours. Most of the facilities are rebuilt within days. However, the NATO members are now divided what to do. There have been now 5 published drone incidences where a drone exploded in Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, and the latest in Latvia. Europe doesn't know what to do. Poland has denied Ukraine deliberately violated its airspace, despite the fact we have several documented incidences of Ukraine violating Polish airspace, and Hungarian and Romanian. Right? Now, Russia maintains that all the previous long ceasefires were used by Kiev to regroup, reform, reinforce their frontline positions rather than produce peace negotiations. They've advised foreign diplomats to stay out of Ukraine over the weekend as a precaution, because if the Ukrainians violate their ceasefire, they are going to... Now, did I say hellfire? Rain hell on them, I believe. Now, the Russians do have a number of missiles with hell-themed names, because they are either thermobaric or just so large in their explosion. Yes. Yes, the latest bullfuck virus, the hantavirus, is spreading. A plague ship told passengers the man dead was not infected and has decided to return to port with the... Yeah. So they're going to test the people when they return. Great. We're going to spread the bullfuck virus. Well, Big Pharma has to create profits and the government can create revenue. Woo! So it's not enough that we have wars destroying us. Now we've got to have plagues. Well, now we have war, pestilence. Bring on the famine, hey? The Ukrainian economic collapse, anyone? Anyone... oh no, wheat is dying in Ukraine. It's going to be a famine. You watch. So we've got war and pestilence, famine. Yeah. Now I forgot. Now let's just quickly look it up. We have the 4 horsemen. All we need is we had 3. We have 3 of the 4. Yay, team! Yay, Team Satan! Eh? All the Satanists are going to be happy tonight. 3 of the 4 horsemen are on the ride. Okay. All right. So Truce has begun. It began 22 hours ago, 19 hours ago. Ukraine attacked Russia, and since then has attacked over 1,000 times. But again, as far as I know, Putin still has, through Dmitry Peskov, although he also gave a direct speech, repeated the truce, and that retaliation will occur on the midnight. So when the truce expires, that's when they'll retaliate. But we'll see. We'll see whether or not tomorrow they will continue. But he has put Ukraine on notice that they'll face Iranian missiles if they keep it up. And it'll be done, again, like I said, in a timely manner. This is Maria Zakharova. So, yeah, this is the third different story that I've found. Putin's speech is in Russian, but he Um, but it was on a channel that is known to be monitored by Ukraine, because all Russian television is blocked in Ukraine. It's against the law to watch Russian television in Ukraine. We're an open society, open and transparent. We're a tolerant society. Meanwhile, Volodymyr Zelensky has tried to put together some threats or some drone attack on the Red Square. They were arrested. I don't know if they mention it here, but the FSB did capture someone plotting a disruption to the victory celebration to end World War II. They had the US has had a telephone conversation. Ukraine has sent a delegation to the United States, as with other nations. Putin has responded by saying he doesn't know why they're sending one to the United States, but I know why he sent them to other countries. So you may assume that it's the same as the reason why they sent a delegation to Canada, Mexico, Ireland, and Finland. They're trying to put together an international tribunal to begin prosecution of Russians around the world for crimes against humanity. Yeah. It's not going to end well. Now, if China wasn't in such a bad shape, a self-inflicted wound, if Russia had not deliberately isolated itself back in, but again, their isolation was more economic necessity rather than they simply couldn't maintain their large alliances around the world. And this is a problem when you have... See, it's different when their relationship with Vietnam, because they're not subsidising Vietnam, but they're subsidising North Korea, Iran, were subsidising Venezuela, Cuba, and many other countries. But they've, over the years, they couldn't keep up, maintain their presence in Syria. The so-called Islamic Brotherhood there turned against them. I don't exactly know what happened, but there was a split or a rift. The government forces decided not to defend Assad, and they were on the verge of victory. So Assad must have done something, or just America's money was finally, or the pressure was finally enough on them, or perhaps the generals were thinking that the price of victory was too high. There could be many reasons. Or again, it could simply be they were exhausted, fatigued, didn't want to... They were done defending. Now, I understand Assad. Most people don't. That's fine. If you don't want to believe that he was driven by motivation to defend religious minorities in Syria, that's fine. You can believe me or don't believe me. It's unfortunate, but the world has an obsession with majorities, and there are very few people who understand why true minorities and why true minorities need to be protected, and why true majorities should be forced out of the West. Even Russia needs to force some people out before the healing can begin. China, the same. China's got a big issue, but right now I think China's problems are not so much its internal problems, but the hantavirus might actually be affecting China far more than we know. Now, this virus, if it is as deadly or as they claim, it may devastate Ukraine and other countries who simply cannot afford another problem on them, another monkey on their back. But they're going to get one, whether they like it or not. Colds, flus, and viruses are spreading, becoming more frequent. Why is our immunity compromised? Because the quality of our food is compromised. Kiev, of course, is uncaring and unwavering in its ethnic war. And we've seen this, right, in 44 when there could have been grand peace, a truce even, an end even. No, they chose their ethnic war. And remember, the Nazis' ethnic war against Russians did not end well. But they should have never made it personal in the first place, or political for that matter. A political victory, there is going to be no political victory. I believe history is full of disasters by people who are greatly misunderstood by the majority because the majority wanted simple sound bites that they could absorb and consume. This has been throughout history. He's the bad guy. Let's go get him. And yeah. Whereas most of your wars could have been avoided if they were more targeted against the individuals who are the true threats. You know, the warmongers, the warlords, in the first place. Like, though many did not start as warlords. Remember, Zelensky promised peace when he came to power. We heard this before. I want peace. A little piece of Poland, a little piece of Czechoslovakia. Oh, I maybe even take a little piece of Hungary. Oh, the peace. A piece of this, a piece of that. I'm going to have a big of the piece. Yeah. So, don't think anything is new under the sun, unfortunately. But that's the state of the war right now. Or should I say, military crisis. So, thank you all for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, where I'm building an RPG. Buy my books, buy my merch. The RPG, of course, is symbiotic to my books. I world build through my RPG. I incorporate those into stories. The stories I incorporate back into my RPG. So thank you for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. All support goes into covers for my books, artwork, and yes, to all build my RPG. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all for your support. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.